We welcome you to our coverage of Week 6 action here in the 2018 IHSA football season here in the Mid-Suburban League West Conference, as tonight we've got homecoming here at Schaumburg High School as the Saxons welcome in the Conant Cougars. Good Friday evening on this September 28th, 2018. To wherever you may be tuning in for our HETV Game of the Week, I'm Ryan Fay, that are going to be bringing you tonight's action here from Schaumburg High School. And for the Saxons, they were blanked out here on their home field last week against the undefeated Hoffman Estates Hawks. The Hawks came in here and defeated them by the score of 14-0. Meanwhile, for the Conant Cougars, they're coming off of a very impressive win over at Barrington when they defeated the Broncos by the score of 21-12. One of the things to really keep an eye out for here tonight is the sophomore running back duos that are going to be taking place here tonight. Going to be something to watch with a lot of young players for each side that is going to be taking the offensive and defensive sides of the football here tonight. It's homecoming here at Schaumburg High School. It's going to be loud. We'll get you set for kickoff and a lot more next on our HETV Game of the Week. And as we get set for kickoff, it'll be the Saxons, the home team in the maroon jerseys with the gold pants going rights, left, and the Conant Cougars in the road white uniforms. Kicking this one away for the Saxons, Jonathan Mueller. It's homecoming night here at Schaumburg High School, and it's a team in the Cougars that are 3-2, and Schaumburg at 3-2 as well. A kickoff, and we have our play underway as receiving the opening kickoff and breaking a few tackles and getting towards the 30-yard line is number 27. That's Malik Frederick, the sophomore, getting the touch there. And here comes this Cougars offense, and pleased to be joined here on the call by Eric Anderson. And Eric, this is a Cougars offense that we're going to see a lot of running the football here tonight.
A lot of running the football, and if they're successful, they'll do that a lot, and they'll hold on to the ball for a good amount of the time, try to keep a slightly more explosive Schaumburg offense off the field.
Yeah, they are led by senior quarterback number 4, Kevin Pulaski. This team, again, coming off of a very impressive 21-12 victory over at Barrington last week. Not easy to do to go into Bronco territory and pick up a win on the road there.
Yeah, easily the biggest win for Storts here at Conant so far.
And on the toss to the left and getting met up back behind the line of scrimmage is Joseph Perez, the senior running back, met by a sea of Saxons there to bring up a second down and long. Loss of about a couple there.
So we'll likely see three ball carriers tonight for Conant. Perez, who just carried, the Frederick, the sophomore, who turned the opening kickoff, and then we should see Anthony Watchell as well get some action back there. We'll see much more of that than the quarterback Pulaski dropping back to pass. He has just 36 passes on the year through 5 games.
Yeah, and we go back to the game that we covered at Conant a few weeks ago when they hosted Maine South in their final non-conference game. He had went into that game with just only 8 pass attempts, and he threw for, I believe it was in double digits pass attempts, and thought it was kind of a night and day approach with the passing game. As Eric, you mentioned, this team doesn't throw the ball a lot. Ball towards the far hash, one receiver out to the near right. You have a receiver in the slot with a man in motion. As this one trying to take it himself, ball comes out, race for the football. Looks like Conant falls on top of it. We'll see though, but botched play there off the snap as Pulaski had to go back to get it, and it looks like the officials do say that the Cougars did recover, brings up a 3rd and long here for Conant. As recovering that one there for the Cougars was number 55 Ryan Giannini, the senior lineman.
Not what Conant wanted to do. They're way behind the sticks. This is going to be 3rd and 21. You would think a passing position for Pulaski here.
Yeah, and you mentioning Brian Stortson is with his new team here in Conant trying to turn things around for the program. He mentioned after the win against Barrington that they took a big step forward in that one last night, but they're taking some steps backwards today as coming in on the end around off this 3rd down for the Cougars is Pierre Wood. And it's not enough for a 1st down, but a nice play there from Conant nevertheless to bring up a 4th down. And you have to imagine the punting unit coming out here, but the offense is going to stay out there. It's 4th and 9. They're going no huddle here, maybe to try to get Schaumburg to jump, Eric.
Yeah, this is an interesting call this early in the game, and a long 4th and 9. I wouldn't be surprised. Looks like quarterback going to drop back and punt this thing.
Yep, and going back now to perhaps take said punt is Hezzy Trotter.
Do it all, man, for Schaumburg. Trotter.
He drew 4 pass interference penalties against him last week on offense. Trotter's got speed, and he gets ahead towards the 45-yard line. And here comes this Saxons offense here on homecoming night, led by the 5'9 senior quarterback Marcus Ross. And you have to imagine on his side of the ball, Eric, that it's going to be the sophomore and number 25, Michael DeGioia, to get a lot of touches just like he did last week.
Yeah, that's been the case for Schaumburg all season. 97 carries on the year for DeGioia. That leads the area. Averages 4.5 yards per carry. So he's their workhorse, and Hezzy Trotter is their big play guy. So they'll try to mix that combination in.
Although they were stuffed and lost kind of the matchup at the line last week against Hoffman Estates. Femi Ogini for those Hawks had 12 tackles and 2 sacks in that game, leading to that 14-0 win for Hoffman Estates here last week that we covered. As DeGioia is going to get off the immediate touch, and he is immediately met at the line of scrimmage. Leading the way there was Dante Trombetta, the senior lineman, to bring down a 2nd and long.
Both these teams have played pretty good defense to this point in the season, and 4 plays in, it seems like we may see a couple of good defensive efforts tonight.
Loss of a couple there to make it 2nd and 12. Still no score here early on with under 9:30 and counting to play in this first quarter. Marcus Ross, the quarterback, has a receiver out to each side. As Ross is going to give it on the handoff, as he gives that one to the right side for Shamari Brown, as he gets towards the 47-yard line to bring up 3rd down.
3rd and a long play coming up. We'll likely see Ross. He's up until last week, he's been pretty effective at holding on to the ball, but he did have 3 interceptions last week, 3 of his 4 total on the year. So he'll need to avoid that tonight.
3 receivers out left. You have to imagine here they may try to look for the receiver on the near side of your screen, and Hezzy Trotter, who's gotten a lot of touches here in his career at Schaumburg, and on a 3rd down and 9, you'd have to wonder if they go to him. Ross faces pressure. He's going to run it himself. He gets past the 50, stays on his feet, gets into Cougar territory, but he's going to be short as he gets taken down at the Conant 47-yard line, and it brings up 4th down.
Ross runs the ball a good amount for Schaumburg. Don't think that was a design run, but got a few yards, but it's going to set up a punting situation for Schaumburg. Their offense is on the field.
Yep.
Trotter does punt, and he is behind center. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him back up and kick this just like Conant did.
Yeah, right now nobody back deep, though, for Conant. And Trotter takes a few more steps back. He stands at his own 47. He's going to do that rugby-style pump. He tries to keep it, and it's not going to work. He tried that last week against Hoffman Estates. They weren't fooled either, and Cougars follow suit, and it's a turnover on downs. Have to wonder if that was kind of like a punt run option. We talk about the RPO. It was the PRO in this case.
Yeah, I don't believe that was a design fake all the way. I think they let Trotter make a decision on that one. He took the gamble, and it didn't pay off.
He didn't gain anything on that one off that 4th down as we have 7:49 to go here in this first quarter. We go back to that matchup last year that Schaumburg had against Hoffman Estates and how Hoffman had nearly the ball for the entire first quarter. They had it for over 7.5 minutes on the opening drive, and here we are already exchanging drives, and We're not even 5 minutes into the first quarter yet.
We get to see our first down of the night here. So good defense out of both these teams on their opening drives here. Good level of energy out of both these teams coming out in this homecoming game on a nice crisp fall night.
1 receiver out to the near right as Pulaski on the handoff gives it up the middle, as taking that run there was Bradley Spates, the junior running back, for a gain of a couple. Mentioned a platoon of running backs that the Cougars go with. They just rotate him like a Ferris wheel.
Yeah, we haven't seen that much of Spates this year. This offense very similar to the double wing offenses that Brian Stortz ran at Lake Zurich several years ago. He won a lot of games there behind very strong defenses. He's trying to use the same formula here at Conant.
1 receiver in motion towards the backfield, and getting that catch in motion was Wood. Or Pierre Rude on the carry.
Looks like we have a flag coming that's going to it was a pretty productive play for Conant, but it looks like it's going to be a holding call that's going to push this back to 2nd and long. And
you are correct on that call, Eric, because that's what the head official calls. So it'll negate the run to still bring up a 2nd and long.
So far, Conant's been able to find a little bit of running room on the edges. The dive game up the middle has been totally stuffed by Schaumburg here.
So that will back them up quite a bit. They go deeper back in their own territory. Ball now at the 38 of Conant. Under 7 minutes to play here in this first quarter now.
Second and very long. Schaumburg defense trying to get Conant to throw a pass.
And on the end around, once again, they go to Rude, and he gets ahead of the 40 to still bring up a third down and long, as taking him down there for the Saxons with Anthony Hernandez, the sophomore defensive back.
So Rude also hasn't had much action on the year. He's listed as a linebacker, wide receiver, and he's got a few carries out of the wingback position. He's a 175-pound senior.
So 3rd down and 14 here with this play forthcoming as we have under 6.5 to play. Thanks for joining us on our HETV Game of the Week. Alongside Eric Anderson, I'm Ryan Fay with you here on the call from Schaumburg High School. And Week 6 action. Starting the 2/3 portion of the season
It's
already.
amazing how quickly these seasons go by.
Rude in motion again as Pulaski is going to drop back. He's going to air it out downfield. We don't see him do this often. And going for the diving catch. And the intended receiver, Mason Rieger, the junior tight end, he got separation, Eric, just couldn't get to the ball. He was about a step short.
For a 3rd and 14 play, that's about as good of a situation as you could ask for. A quarterback had plenty of time, one-on-one coverage. There was a chance to make a play there, but wide receiver wasn't quite able to come down with it.
Yeah, he was kind of tangled up there footing-wise as well, as I believe that was Tyler Fortune, the sophomore DB, that he was going in one-on-one coverage with downfield and got tangled up with the feet. I wonder if that had anything to do with it. No penalty was thrown on it. Obviously, that being the right call, you kind of let that one go. But nevertheless, a big play there for Conant that they don't convert on.
When you only throw 36 passes on the year, maybe you're not quite as crisp as you want to be. Another punt here where the QB backed out of the up from under center.
And it takes a Cougar bounce inside the 15-yard line. They'll mark it at the 13. Now another chance here for this Saxons offense to come back out onto the field and untie our 0-0 score with 5:47 to play in this first quarter of action. Again, this is a team that, if you look the way of, other than DeJoya, the sophomore running back, if you look towards the 6'3 target of Hezi Trotter, it can be a long day for you on defense.
Yeah, Trotter has he's averaging just under 18 yards per reception, so he's certainly a big play threat. He's returned 2 kicks for touchdowns this year. So we'll see if they try to get him involved here on 1st through 3rd down this drive.
He lines up on their near left side. They officially placed the ball at the 13. Ross on the shotgun with 3 receivers out right as it'll go to DeJoya. He jukes to his left, but he doesn't get much after the fact, as helping to bring him down there was Ronald Williams, the junior defensive back, leading the way for the Cougars. Gain of a couple there for DeJoya.
DeJoya worked awfully hard for a 2-yard gain. He was gang tackled by about 4 or 5 Cougars on that play.
So gain of officially 2. 2 receivers out to the left, 1 out to the right. Trotter the 1 out to the near left to keep an eye on. Joy at the left hip of Ross, and Ross is going to throw to his right. Pass is caught, and taking the contact right away and getting that first down was Jesse Luke, the sophomore.
That's a pretty crisp pass out of Ross. It looks like they are going to move the sticks. That's their first down of the night.
And Luke Jesse there with the first down. You mentioned it's been drives that we haven't seen a first down on, and Luke Jesse then converts. Man in motion as Ross will hand this one out to DeJoya again. Gets an extra burst towards the 30, and a nice run there on first down for Schaumburg.
Yeah, it's DeJoya's best run of the night here. It looks like they're going to try to get something going with him and take a little pressure off of Ross throwing the ball.
Clock now at 4:44 and counting. 2nd down and 6 off that 4-yard run from DeJoya. Ball towards the far hash. 2 receivers out left, 1 to the right, as DeJoya's going to get the carry again, and he doesn't get much out of it, if anything, to bring up 3rd down. Bringing him down there for Conant was number 50, Dante Trombetta.
Big game for both these teams trying to make the playoffs. Schaumburg lost to Lake Zurich in the first round off of a 5-4 season. Conant much improved after finishing 1-8. They did have several close losses, so there was some reason to think that they'd be better this season, and that's proven to be the case.
3rd down and 5. 3 receivers out left, 1 to the right. Shotgun formation for Marcus Ross. Ross steps up, and he is going to go down. Couldn't find anything downfield, as bringing him down for the Cougars was number 99, and Frank Didone, the 6'1 senior lineman and it's 4th down for the Saxons.
Starting to think this is looking to be a pretty low-scoring game. Ross really didn't have any time to do anything on that pass. He was several Cougars in the backfield.
It's a loss of about 6 on that sack to make it 4th and 11. Trotter now to punt it.
Our
and
first punt out of the traditional formation.
I was going to say right on cue on that. I was about to bring that up to you, Eric. And this one, I don't think there's going to be any discussion on if he was going to punt, as a flag comes out before the punt. Looks like there was movement at the line, rather, and that is going to go against Schaumburg for 5 more yards. So we're seeing the Schaumburg offense here, Eric. They get a couple steps forward with the running game of DeJoya, and then they don't do anything trying to pass downfield, and now penalties are hurting them. Yeah, and the
Conant punt returner is going to be inside on the Schaumburg side of the 50, so good field position should be coming up here for Conant.
Anthony Watchell's back deep, right at midfield. Trotter standing at his own 5 at the moment. Good snap, and a punt that may have been actually fingertipped at the line, and this drive for the Cougars is going to start in Saxon territory right ahead of the 30-yard line, and a big chance here now for Conant to carry some momentum with their offense here.
You know, this is the type of game Storts wants to win. They haven't picked up a first down, but here they are with the ball at Schaumburg's 29-yard line after sack, penalty, and a punt that went fairly sideways.
So Pulaski and the offense back out there once again with 3:02 to go in this first quarter of action, no score. One receiver out to the right. And in the backfield right now.
That's going to be a penalty.
Flag comes out, as Eric mentions. Pass is caught, and breaking down the sideline for a first down at the moment is Watchell. But let's see what the flag is first, as it's back at the line of scrimmage.
There's some confusion on what the play call. You had 2 backs go in motion at the same time.
Yeah, they're going to call a legal motion against the Cougars, so that's going to negate that catch there from Anthony Watchell. And the one time that we're seeing Conant kind of go successful with the passing game, it automatically comes back.
Yeah, that squabbles their good field position slightly here. Well, but it was an indication that that Conant's looking to maybe air this thing out a little bit more than they have other parts of the season. We'll see if they stick with that here.
5-yard penalty there for the illegal movement. 1st and 15 on the 34-yard line. One receiver out to each side. Pulaski looking like he's changing up the calls at the line. Man coming in motion, that's Rude, and the handoff is going to go up the middle, and darting towards the right side is Bradley Spates, number 34.
So that's a pretty productive run up the middle for Conant to get back the penalty yardage and then plus a little bit more.
There's a gain of 7 on that run to make it 2nd and 8. Under 2.5 now to play in this opening quarter. Conant, a team that is 3-2, and then the point differential market, they're -2 coming into tonight. Pulaski throws to his right, pass is caught. It's Watchell again to the near side, and that'll be a first down for the Cougars right about at the 15-yard line.
So Pulaski finding number 27 there again. He's looked good throwing the ball. We had the one deep ball that play could have been made on, and the two passes to the outside that have been pretty well thrown balls.
1st and 10 now at that 15. One receiver out to each side, Spates in the backfield. As we mentioned, Spates coming in tonight hasn't had that many touches for Conant so far here in 2018, but getting some tonight. Man comes in motion. Spates is going to get the touch yet again, and he falls forward for a gain of a few there, as he may have gotten about 4 or 5 towards the 10-yard line for 2nd down.
Yeah, up the middle again. That's what they want to do on first down. This gives them a lot of options on 2nd down. So this is big opportunity to get 7 here for Conant. They're at the 10-yard line.
One out to each side. Pulaski looks for a new call there from head coach Brian Storts on the sideline. Spade's still in the backfield. And Pulaski's going to keep it himself, goes to his left, It's enough for a first and goal right at about the 5. An interesting play there from Pulaski. Kind of held it for an extra half second there. As Schaumburg thought they had read that one well, but they ended up not doing so.
Yeah, it was an option play where he took the ball out of the fullback's belly and kept it himself for the first down.
First and goal now at the 3 as the Cougars are trying to charge it for the opening score here in this first quarter. 107 and counting in said first quarter. 2 backs in the backfield now. Watchell out to the right, and the toss goes to Pierre Rude. He makes a move, and he is no signal yet. Cougars on the field saying touchdown, but I think the officials got him spotted at about the 2-inch line. That ball's right there.
Just short, it looks like. That was a little different play call out of Conant. They had 2 guys deep in the backfield, and it was a wide pitch. Looked to be stopped at about the 5-yard line, but Rude was able to break some tackles and get right to the doorstep of the end zone here.
They'll have to get one more play off here as the play clock just started 7 seconds ago and counting. 25 and counting on the game clock now. 2 receivers out, and this one taking it in all alone is the quarterback, Kevin Pulaski, for a Conant Cougars touchdown.
That's a nice looking drive out of Conant. They capitalized on the good field position. They had their running game was effective first time tonight, and mixed in there they had the quick out pass. That was I think the biggest gain on that drive.
Jessica Smeltzer out to kick the extra point for Conant as they have a 6-0 lead here with the extra point pending with exactly 20 seconds to play in this first quarter. Pulaski to hold it, the snap, the hold, and the kick. It is up, and that one high through the uprights and good from the junior kicker, Jessica Smeltzer, to make it 7-0 Conant here on the road here against the Schaumburg Saxons. But a nice orchestrated drive that started at the Schaumburg 29-yard line, Eric, and they just kind of did what they do best, and that's running the football.
Ran the football well. Took just under 3 minutes left to cover that 30 just under 29 yards. So that's what Conant wants to do. They were able to get some running room on a couple of dive plays, and then after that, Pulaski kept off the fake dive. So that was, I think you would call the Conant offense was doing what they want to do on that drive.
I'm sure Brian Stortz had to have appreciated that drive being orchestrated. Again, he mentioned in that win against Barrington last week that, quote, we took a step forward tonight. And in the quote from last week is that for tonight I wanted to enjoy that win. Well, they definitely enjoyed it, but here they come here trying to go to 4-2 on the season. And look at stay towards the top of the Mid-Suburban West Conference as only them, Fremd, and Hoffman Estates have the 3 conference wins so far to begin conference play of this season. It's week 2 of the conference slate of the season.
Yeah, win here for Conant would give them an excellent shot at making a playoff appearance, which would.
And speaking of playoff appearances, trying to make a case is Hezzy Trotter. No one's going to get to him, and Hezzy Trotter off the kickoff brings it in for a Saxons touchdown, and the Saxons strike back just like that.
Just when everything's going well for Conant, the best player, maybe the best player on the field, makes a play, and we're going to be knotted at 7 here pending the PAT. It looked like Trotter was able to run comfortably up to about the 30, made a couple of guys miss, and he had nothing but open grass ahead of him after that.
So how's that for a response on homecoming night?
Yeah, kind of coming into this game, we thought that we'd see both teams try to be fairly conservative, but also thought that Trotter might be able to make a couple big plays that could be a difference maker, and that kickoff return certainly was that.
Mueller out to kick the point after to try to tie this up at 7. So nothing doing for much of the first quarter, and here we are in the final 20 seconds when you include that touchdown run from Kevin Pulaski as the extra point is up, and it is good. So just like that, we're tied up at 7. We go from a 1-yard touchdown run from the quarterback Kevin Pulaski to the very next play, a Hezzy Trotter kickoff return for a touchdown. And here we are, all 7s on the board, 7 seconds to play in this first quarter. How about a answer there from the Saxons on homecoming night?
Yeah, homecoming night, Hezzy Trotter. He hasn't been as effective on receiving and rushing the ball, but that is his 3rd kick return for a touchdown in 6 games on the season. So certainly dangerous there, and that was something Schaumburg needed right now, I think.
A weapon truly that is Hezzy Trotter. Mueller now to kick this one from his own 40. Anthony Watchell back deep along with Joseph Perez for the Cougars. As this Cougars team, again, only allowing 84 points coming into tonight, although only accounting for 82 of their own.
Yeah, and the defense really outside of the main South game has been very solid.
So here's the kickoff now from Mueller as Watch is going to get it from about his own 1. As Watchell to the near side will get taken down right at about the 20. And there's no time left after the kickoff, and that does it for our first quarter of play. An exciting way to end this first quarter of action here on homecoming night as we get ready for the second quarter. But overall, Eric, your thoughts on that opening quarter?
Yeah, well, it was an action-packed last 30 seconds for sure. Other than that, I think it was what we expected, which is a fairly conservative game plan out of both teams and something where we saw a lot of punts being traded. I think we'll be interesting to see if this is kind of shot some adrenaline into this game, or if we'll go back to more punt swapping or not.
And we saw early on with the punts from at least on the Schaumburg side when we saw the punt run option from Hezzy Trotter that didn't go so well when he tried to keep it himself and try to run for a first down, didn't work. And then the punt that he had on that long fourth down didn't work out so well, as that's what led to that touchdown run from Pulaski that put him at the Schaumburg 29-yard line. Yeah,
the Conant touchdown it really is a result of punting better than Schaumburg. Schaumburg had the failed fake and a poor punt that led to the short field for Conant that they were able to capitalize on. But Schaumburg able to wipe that trestle ball off the table with a big kickoff return.
So they'll switch sides of the field. The Cougars in their road white uniforms will be going right to left on offense, and the Saxons in their home maroon uniforms, the gold pants, maroon helmets, will be going left to right. Second quarter now underway as the end around is going to go to Rude to the far side, and he may have lost a couple actually on that one to bring up second down.
Stacked up nicely by Schaumburg. The option game, they haven't sprung any major leaks. I think probably the longest run of the night is under 10 yards so far for Conant.
There's a loss of 1 on that play there from Rude. Make it 2nd and 11 with the ball at the 19 as we've just gotten this second quarter of action underway. And a Conant team that really loves to run the football and then run it some more. As Pulaski gets under center, Rude goes in motion. And Pulaski's going to roll to his left. He is going to pass it right on cue as I say that. And for a first down and a lot more, getting ahead of the 40-yard line for the Cougars. As taken down there was Devon Holmes, number 29, for a big first down in the passing game for Conant.
About a 24-yard reception there. So Pulaski, the 3 times that he's dropped back to pass, he's looked like he knows what he's doing back there. So that'd be interesting to see if they continue to go with that, or if it opens up the inside run game a little bit.
Holmes now comes out as Spates checks into the game. That was a 22-yard completion. First down and 10 as Pulaski 2 passes in a row. Something that's kind of weird for this Conant offense as Watchell gets the catch just short of the 50, and it brings up a 2nd and short.
Good looking pass there again. Pulaski hasn't thrown an interception this year, so he's held on to the ball nicely, and he's looked good in passing so far this game.
It's an official gain of 6 there on that passing catch. 1 receiver out to each side, ball in the near left hash. Spates in the backfield. Still plenty of time on the play clock at 15 and counting. Pulaski now back under center. Rude goes in motion. And Spates is going to get the handoff up the middle just ahead of midfield. Goes Spates, and it looks like that is enough for a first down, and they will move the chains.
This double wing offense that Conant's running. I mentioned that Storts ran this at Lake Zurich.
Actually, I don't think they gave him the first down. It looked like the chains were ready to move, and even one official looked like he was about to call first down. They called short. 3rd down and inches here at the Schaumburg 49-yard line. You'd have to imagine here they got to go with a run to Spates, you'd think.
Yeah, I think this will be Spates, possibly Pulaski up ahead. That's what it is. He'll pick that up easily.
Yep, option 2 there is Pulaski keeping him himself. Gets a gain of a couple to move the chains now for a first down.
So nice.
Conant
nice
was a little
series
surprised there. If you looked at the sign, they were kind of surprised that they didn't give the progress of going forward. They're falling down for Spates.
Yeah, it did, and it did look like the chain gang there had started to move and then stopped. But
that's what actually kind of threw me off at first. I was like, well, the chain said it, and they probably had to concur with the official, but wasn't the case. Either way, it still was a first down made for the Cougars as Spates, I should say I got faked out for a moment as I thought Spates had the carry, but on the end around was Joey Perez as he lost a few.
Yeah, a counter play to not fool the Saxon defense at all. He reversed direction on the handoff and was met by a good number of Saxon tacklers. So it seems to this point the Conant offense, the deception of the Conant offense hasn't been effective, but they've still been able to find some with more physicality, find some space in the run game here.
9:40 and counting to go in this first half. 7-7 our score. 1 out to each side. It was a loss of 1 on that previous play. Spates in the backfield behind the quarterback Kevin Pulaski. Perez goes in motion, and Pulaski going to keep it himself. Goes to the near side and gets out of bounds. Close to a first down, but a nice run there from the senior quarterback.
Yeah, that was an option keeper. He faked to the fullback and had an opening around the end. Picked up a nice gain of about, I think that's going to be a first down, probably about a 12-yard gain on that play.
Well, it depends on where they mark it. I'm not going to get fooled like I did last time. And chains are actually kind of conferring about it. They're going to say he stepped out at the 38-yard line, so he is going to be short, but it brings up a third and manageable here for the Cougars. They mark him at the 38, 3rd down and 2. One receiver out right, Spates in the backfield. Rude goes in motion as rolling out and being met right away, reading it like a book. Blake Buchanan, the sophomore linebacker, he knew that play was coming and he sniffed it out.
Surprising play call out of Conant, 3rd and short. They go for the pass, and it really is the first time that their pass protection hasn't been there as Schaumburg was immediately in the backfield and came down with a big sack. 4th and 10. I think this is going to be a punt where we see Pulaski drop back, but yeah.
We'll see as now he gets out of the under center formation, and Trotter's standing back at about his own 26-yard line at the moment, although he is watching for coverage as well. They go for now 4th and 10. Pulaski near side. Watchell out of bounds, incomplete.
Yeah, flag in the play. I'm not sure. That's in the defensive backfield, so it will be interesting to see what that is. But a little surprising. They came into a under center formation. Pulaski's the legal man downfield's the call, so they're going to decline that and take the football at their own 45.
Good play, though, defensively from the Saxons to cover that one. They were looking for Watchell, that being the Cougars. So a turnover on downs, and the Saxons now are going to start this drive from their own 45-yard line, roughly.
Yeah, so a couple, Conant
46, excuse me.
Conant being a little more aggressive there. 3rd and short, they go for the pass, get sacked. 4th down, they go for the I think you could call that a fake punt, and had one-on-one coverage, but well defended, and just couldn't quite come down with it. The pass was near the sideline as well.
8:20 to play in this first half, still tied at 7. 2 receivers out left, no one to the right. DeJoy in the backfield as a man comes in motion. DeJoy is going to get that carry for a gain of maybe 1 or 2.
Maybe 1 or 2, and he really had to make a pretty big cut about 2 yards into the backfield. That's never a good sign for a running back. So good penetration out of the Conant defense here.
Makes it 2nd down at 8 as we got 8 minutes to go. And thanks for joining us for our HETV Game of the Week alongside Eric Anderson. I'm Ryan Fay with you here on the call from Schaumburg High School on homecoming night here at the Saxons.
Yeah, good crowd on hand for a brisk evening here.
As DeJoy gets the carry yet again, past midfield he goes. Gets towards the 46-yard line on the Cougars side to bring up a 3rd and manageable for Schaumburg.
Yeah, that's a nice patient run. He never got up to top speed, but was able to slither through the defense for a nice run. A nice gain.
They gave it a gain of 7 on that run for the sophomore. 3rd down and 1. Man comes in motion as Ross gives it to who else? DeJoy, but he is met Ball came
fumble on the play there.
out, but I think officials are going to rule him down prior. As meeting him there initially was Trombetta, the lineman, number 50 in white. It was a loss of about a yard to make it 4th and 2.
There's another play where DeGioia had to cut about 2-3 yards in the backfield and was taken down for a loss. So the center of that Conant line is playing a nice ball game so far.
Now here's that quote-unquote punt formation that we saw earlier in the first quarter that didn't work, that Trotter kept. Let's see what he does here on this 4th and 2. He's going to run it, and he is going to get the first down and more. Sidesteps to the far sideline. Hezzy Trotter trying to get the edge. Hezzy Trotter, a flag comes out. But a big play converted on 4th down, but let's see what the penalty flag is.
I think that's going to be a face mask on the tackle. So, and I think at worst case, even if this were to be a downfield hold, I think the spot would still give the Saxons a first down. So a risky play call there again, but it pays off this time.
Officials talking about it. Let's see what the call is. And you are correct. They do call a face mask against Conant. So now this drive continues for 1st and goal territory for the Saxons. And what a run there. An athletic big play from Hezzy Trotter.
Yeah, I would think that they'd be a little more cautious after the similar play didn't work earlier. But Trotter was able to get to about the line of scrimmage, made a quick move to the outside, and was off to the races.
With that penalty, it moves the ball to 1st and goal at the 3.
Goes to show you having an explosive player like that can really make life easier for a head coach.
2 receivers out right. DeGioia at the left hip of Ross. Trotter comes in motion. DeGioia gets the handoff, but he is met right away by a sea of white jerseys for 2nd and goal.
I think we'll see a lot of DeGioia until this thing's into the end zone. Picked up about a yard there.
So we approach 6 minutes to play, the halfway mark of this second quarter. 7-7 our score here in Week 6 of Mid-Suburban West Conference action. Here on a brisk, cool night at Schaumburg High School. At the gun, DeGioia gets the carry, and he is going to be met right at the line of scrimmage again, and it's 3rd down for the Saxons.
Yeah, DeGioia not finding a whole lot of room right up the middle. Brian Stort's defense is doing a nice job there. Good defensive line play for sure. Be interesting to see if Schaumburg gets a little more creative here. They've certainly shown an interest in trying to move the ball on 4th down, so they may consider this two downs to go here.
Trotter right now lined up in the backfield, and he may be taking this snap here. We'll see. Now it looks like Ross is going to be under center, and Trotter calls a timeout because there was only 2 seconds left on the play clock. So
an interesting formation. Ross was under center. DeGioia was kind of the offset I fullback, and Trotter was the deep tailback, and it was Trotter who called the timeout with the play clock going down. So Schaumburg may have had a trick up their sleeve on that one, but weren't able to get the play in time.
And a good veteran move there from Trotter, the senior, to be aware of the play clock as well, as usually your signal caller and as your quarterback would get to it, but I think Ross tried to get the call off with those remaining seconds on it, but Trotter had said otherwise, saying, no, we're not ready for this. Let's just call it timeout. As that was their first of this half. They still have 2 remaining.
Be interesting to see if they come out in that same formation or change it up here. It's been a tricky game so far. I think the story so far is that you have basically 3 fake punts already in the first half of play. Or at least you could say 3 punts, or 3 typical punting situations where the team ended up going for it.
So here comes the Saxons off that timeout. 3rd and goal at the 2. 5:11 to play in the second quarter. We're still tied at 7. Schaumburg trying to knock on the door and take the lead here for the first time tonight.
They do come out in that formation with Trotter as the deep back.
On the far hash, the toss to Trotter, who actually almost bobbled it. He's going to throw it. The pass falls short and incomplete. They did have a trick up their sleeves as Luke Jesse was the intended receiver, but that trickery there, Eric, did not pan out, and it's 4th down.
I think what they wanted to do was hit Ross, the quarterback, sliding into the other side of the end zone, but really I think it was the pressure that disrupted that didn't give that enough time to develop how they were hoping it would.
Although interesting, though, you mentioned if they were going to look to Ross on the far side of the field, he was open, although it didn't even look like Trotter was going to even look his way in the first place.
Yeah, so they set that deception up, but didn't take advantage of it.
Mueller to kick this, what is technically an extra point in length.
I wonder if the timeout gave Conant a little chance to ready for something like that.
Trotter with the hold. The kick is up, and it is good. So the Saxons get on the board with the lead now, and it is 10-7 with 5:02 to play in this first half.
So the Saxons get 3 points off of the successful 4th down, big run on 4th down by Trotter. They were hoping to get in the end zone there. DeGioia was stacked up on 1st and 2nd and down. They have to use the timeout, and then the pass by Trotter fell incomplete.
And what really kind of set up that drive to the eventual field goal was that big face mask call that went on that 4th down from earlier in the quarter that went against Conant.
Yeah, that was on the Trotter punt that got him right up on the goal line, and the drive itself started at roughly the 45 off of Pulaski not being able to convert the 4th down pass. It's a little hard to call these things fake punts because your Conant's quarterback is their punter, and for Schaumburg their star wide receiver is their punter. So the punter's on the field on a normal offense. So it gives them some options to set up some deceptive punting potential plays.
Watchell and Perez back deep from about their own 5. Mueller to kick the kickoff here from his own 40. Perez will get it now from his own 10. Perez past the 20. Gets the edge to the far side for a moment and gets taken down just ahead of the 25-yard line.
Just under 5 minutes left for Conant. We'll see if they put Pulaski back to pass a few more times. They went to him quite a few last drive, and he's been pretty good so far tonight. We haven't seen much of Frederick. He's Conant's leading ball carrier on the season, but I think only a couple touches so far tonight.
And they've been using a lot as Conant comes back onto the offensive side of the ball here. Bradley Spates has been getting a chunk of these touches here tonight, running it for Conant. 1st and 10 at the 27. 4:53 to go here in the half. One receiver out to each side. Man comes in motion, and Pulaski's going to keep it himself on the option, and he gets taken down right at the 30-yard line.
About a 4-yard pickup for Pulaski. He came into this game with 26 carries on the year, so not foreign to running the ball by any means. And he's had some success here tonight.
It's a gain of 3 on that run to make it 2nd and 7 at the 30. Under 4.5 to play in the half. Same formation once again.
It's a little bit of an old versus new with Conant's offense. This double wing was very popular about 15 years ago.
And trying to carry this one was Spates again, but the line of the Saxons led there by number 90 and Alvaro Esparza, the 5'10", 259-pound lineman. Met him there to make it 3rd and long.
Yeah, for two teams that have pretty good running games, both teams have been dropped for losses with their run game a good number of times so far. So these two defensive lines have come to play tonight.
No gain on that run. 3rd down and 8 at the 29. So we approach 3.5 minutes here in the second quarter. 10-7 Schaumburg. Rude goes in motion. Lasse's going to drop back. He's going to throw to his right. Pass is incomplete. They were looking for Watchell. And in coverage there for Schaumburg was Vince DeRazzo, the senior. And it's 4th down, and the punting unit looks like that'll be coming out for Conant.
So this looks to be a full unit change for Conant, bringing in a different line for this punt and everything. So
and Pulaski will be the one that appears to be taking this punt. Trotter standing back at about his own 40-yard line. Regular punt formation here for the Cougars right now.
It is Pulaski back there.
A low kick that is going to take a Cougars bounce, and a nice one if that, inside the 30. So it gets a nice roll, and Schaumburg will take over and just inside its own 30-yard line.
That's probably the ideal kick there. Ended up covering good distance, and it gave zero chance of a Hezzy Trotter return. So I think that's exactly what Conant wanted to do with that one.
So they got the ball at the 28 officially with 3:19 to play here in this second quarter.
That is a big series here as the first half winds down. Schaumburg will get the ball to start the second half.
As that could loom large if you can try to go up multiple possessions, then get the ball back to start the second half. So a big drive perhaps forthcoming. Ross takes the snap, fakes the throw as he goes to DeGioia, and he gets a gain of maybe 2 to bring second down here.
Yeah, another good effort by the Conant defense there, stacking up DeGioia for a minimal gain.
That was kind of the stoppage that Hoffman had against the Saxons and DeGioia last week, and Conant sort of following suit here so far through this first half. As this one on the carry to the left side is Shamari Brown. And that is enough for a good first down and some more just ahead of the 40.
Yes, Shamari Brown on the carry. 6'4", 207 wide receiver. He's a big ball carrier to take down, so that was an effective play for Schaumburg. See if they try to get the ball in the Browns' hand in the run game more often here. He's back there again. They run the same play.
As it goes to Brown yet again, as Eric just mentioned. And forward progress stops him at about the 44-yard line.
Yeah, Brown has 10 receptions on the year. He's the number 2 receiver for Schaumburg. But I kind of like that. Sometimes play works, just go right back to it, and it worked fairly well a second time, about a 4-yard gain.
We approach 2 minutes to play in this first half. Shamari Brown there with back-to-back touches for the Saxons. Kind of giving DeGioia a little breather, essentially, even though he's been out on the field. One receiver out to each side, ball in the far hash. Ross goes back to DeGioia just ahead of the 45. He goes. Gets a gain of a few more to bring up a 3rd and short for the Saxons.
3rd and short. We're under 2 minutes, so it'll be interesting to see what Schaumburg wants to do. They're marking it still 4 yards or so to gain, so this be an interesting play call here for Schaumburg. They're not huddling.
They'll get the call from the far silence from their head coach, Mark Stilling.
So Conant's still sticking with the double wing offense, and Schaumburg's running the kind of a run-heavy spread, which has become much more common here the last few years.
Mentioned this trying to be a defensive battle, and Schaumburg lets it go down on the play clock side of it, and they call a timeout, which is their second of the half. They've got one more. Conant still has all 3 of theirs. And you look at this conference as a whole here, Eric. You look at the West, who we're seeing here tonight between Conant and Schaumburg, and it's a conference as a whole that, there's not a lot of high offensive attacking from each team. But then you look over at the east side of it, when you've got unbeaten Hersey and Rolling Meadows coming into play, and they are just some offensive juggernauts over in the east. Yeah,
absolutely. And a little bit different look west. I'd say the last several years it's been dominated by Barrington and Palatine, and both those teams seem to be down a little bit this year, and it's opened the opportunity for programs like Conant, Hoffman, and Schaumburg to possibly get a West title.
Interesting.
I'd have to guess when the last time somebody other than Friend, Barrington, or Palatine has won the West.
Yeah, and Palatine coming into this week 1-4. Something you would not expect from a Pirates team over the last several years in mid-suburban conference play. They have been perennial 8A programs over the last several years, regardless of finishing in the postseason and in the playoffs.
And the West, they were only 7-5 against the Central Suburban League this year. They had, I think this is the 3rd year of that series. They had dominated it until this year. So still with their winning record, though.
3rd down and 4. Ross is going to keep it. He throws. Pass was deflected at the line, and it is still caught for a first down. A little luck on your side never hurt, as Anthony Refrando, the junior, made the catch for the first down.
All right, so Schaumburg let the clock run down and then throws a fairly conservative pass. I thought maybe they would just were content to get into halftime. We'll see what they do here now with the new set of downs.
1 minute now to go here with the ball at the Conant 48. Ross going to air it out to the far side. It's Brown. He makes the catch downfield. Ball came out, but now they're saying incomplete.
That looked like it was going to be a phenomenal catch. Almost looked like it was going to be a one-handed catch with a defender's hand in his chest, but I think that defender's hand was able to knock the ball loose for a nice play.
I believe that was Ryan Shar, number 21, in coverage for the Cougars. As Brown looked like he had possession trying to go to the ground with the ball, but obviously never secured it, and he lost it.
Yeah, nice.
Well, Conant would have had you thought that he had caught it and he lost it as he went to the ground, but nevertheless, it's 2nd and 10 with the clock stopped at 54 seconds. Ross goes to the same area. It's Brown again, and he makes the catch just ahead of the 45. He goes out at the 44. Clock stops as he went out of bounds, 50 seconds.
You'd think with time running down, they'd like to get the ball into Trotter's hands and see if he can make something happen here. He hasn't been. I don't believe he has a completion yet or a reception yet.
And if I'm looking out on the field right now,
I'm not seeing him
out there. So interesting development there, as Brown is the now tall go-to target in the pass game for Marcus Ross. Not out there right now. He's standing on the sidelines. 3rd down. Ross steps up, throws, pass is caught, and getting his way deeper into Cougars territory and making that first down for Schaumburg is Anthony Refrano once again.
So Schaumburg moving the ball here down to 1 timeout with they burned one inside the 5 there and then one on this drive. They do have a pretty good field goal kicker, so they're on the cusp of getting within their kicker Mueller's range.
Clock had stopped at 41 seconds to set the chains. Now the officials wind it. Ross going to roll to his right, hit as he was thrown, as this one flies out of bounds, incomplete, 2nd down, clock at 32 seconds.
He had a receiver in the area. High school grounding rules are a little bit different, but I guess the official deemed that close enough to the receiver.
As that was
good pressure by Conant on that play.
As that was a little bit of a high throw that went to the near sideline out of bounds. As now Trotter now comes back in. So it was interesting there early on in this drive that we didn't see Hezzy Trotter out on the field.
Yeah, rare play. Trotter is such a big part of special teams and on the Schaumburg defense. It's rare that he comes off the field at all, let alone in a key drive to close out the half.
Brown goes in motion as Ross throws to his up. Pass deflected at the line and off of the fingertips there of the defender, Joseph Carroll, who could have had an easy interception, but to no avail. It's 3rd down, 28 seconds to play in this half.
Little pinball there. Ball got tipped at the line and almost fell into the hands of a Conant defender. I think he was a little surprised by it. It came off pretty hard.
3rd down and 10. Ball at the Cougars 35. 1 timeout remaining for Schaumburg. The Cougars still have all 3 of theirs. Ross going to keep it himself. Gets ahead of the 30, but he's not going to have enough for the first down.
They're going to have to use their last timeout here.
And they haven't yet. Clock's still going.
Under 15 seconds and running.
You have to wonder, maybe they're just going to take it down to then do the field goal attempt and not give the Cougars the ball then. And that is, I believe, what they're going to do as they stop the clock now with that final timeout. 1.2 seconds on the clock.
Not by no means a short kick here. This is going to be about a
46-yarder from the 29. So
yeah, well, it seems that the clock management there out of Stilling certainly was, I think, an objective was to not give Conant the ball back at all. They called let the clock run down at about midfield. They called a timeout, and then there instead of trying to eke out another play, they just decide to try the long field goal attempt.
They have a 10-7 lead right now. They're going to try to go up a touchdown with this upcoming 46-yard attempt. And again, just so you kind of noted as well, in the cooler temperatures and the cool breeze, the ball isn't going to carry as much as it would on a more of a summer-esque night.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Mueller can get the leg underneath this one from 46. And we get a whistle, and now it's Conant that calls a timeout. That's their first of the half.
I think it's cold enough out here. No need to ice, but but Storage feels it differently, I guess.
And the theory of icing the kicker, it doesn't often work, in any level.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that other coaches do it, so because other coaches do it, coaches do it. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't. It certainly doesn't make for good viewing either. A lot of timeouts without any strategy.
And just when you think you're about to have the play happen, and then it doesn't, and then you kind of have to reset yourself, especially if you're a fan.
Yeah, I'm sure Mueller taking the time to swing his leg a little bit during this timeout too, get a little more warmed up.
So they come back out there once again. 46-yard field goal attempt coming from the senior kicker, Jonathan Mueller, as he trotted to hold it. Dan Michael will snap it. Michael the snap, Trotter the hold. Mueller the kick. It is up, and it is going to be off the upright. No good. It just had enough distance, but it hadn't been just a hair right, it would have been good. And we will go to the half with the Saxons still up 10-7.
That's about as close as you can get and not put it through. Off the crossbar there. It's nice kick off the foot. I thought it had plenty of distance, but Ryan, maybe you're right that it's cold temps. The ball just didn't carry quite as much.
So the missed field goal there from Jonathan Mueller still keeps us at 10-7 as we're now going to take our halftime break. 10-7, Saxons lead on homecoming night here at Schaumburg High School. We'll be back for second half action and a whole lot more on our HETV Game of the Week. About to begin second half action here at Schaumburg High School on homecoming night here at the home of the Saxons as they have a 10-7 lead as we're about to begin second half action between the Schaumburg Saxons and the Conant Cougars in this Mid-Suburban West showdown. Alongside Eric Anderson, I'm Ryan Fay with you for our HETV Game of the Week on this Friday, September 28th, 2018. Eric, a 10-7 scores. We're about to begin the second half. Your overall impressions, though, of that first half?
Hey, it was a fairly competitive first half. I think you had Trotter had the two big plays that accounted for all 10 of Schaumburg's points. I'd say that's the difference. Conant's thrown maybe slightly more and been more effective than what we thought. So I think we'll have a competitive half here. Schaumburg starts off with the ball here. Certainly a big game for both these two teams sitting at 3-2. Schaumburg has Barrington and Fremd still on their schedule. Conant with Fremd and Hoffman Estates. So the winner of this game, I would say, is it would be a very likely playoff team, and the loser has a little bit of an uphill battle. And I'd say even the winner of this game would potentially have a shot at winning the West even still.
Yeah, right now at the top of the West right now is Hoffman Estates, unbeaten at 5-0 coming into play tonight, 1-0 in conference play. And that conference play from last week was what you saw last week here against the Saxons of Schaumburg, that they blanked out by the score of 14-0.
Yeah, they've been playing good defense. They were semifinalists in 6A last year, and doing a nice job over there, which is pretty remarkable considering that I think Hoffman Estates went several seasons without winning a game in the West for a while there.
As they're coming off that incredible playoff run from last year, still having that carry over into 2018. As Eric mentioned, the Saxons will receive the ball here to begin this second half of play as the running back in DeJoya goes back deep, and getting a quick score update right now. Palatine leads Hoffman Estates at the home of the Hogs at Garber Stadium, 31-12 in the first half. Possible upset alert here in Week 6 of the Mid-Suburban West Conference.
Nobody saw that.
Have to keep an eye on
coming.
that one throughout our broadcast here tonight. As out to kick this one for Conant will be the kicker in Pierre Rude. He's the long kicker for the Cougars, as Smeltzer is the usual field goal and point after attempt kicker for the Cougars. You've got Shamari Brown back deep along with Hezi Trotter and DeJoya as this one is underway here for the second half as Trotter picks this one up from inside his own 5-yard line. And Trotter trying to go to the far side of the field and get the edge. And he doesn't as he gets taken down just short of the 20-yard line.
That goes to show you how much Schaumburg wants to get the ball in the Trotter's hand. That was kicked well away from him, and he still went and grabbed that, picked it up at about the own 3-yard line. So he effective kickoff by Conant for sure.
So our scores here so far, it was a 1-yard touchdown run from Kevin Pulaski back in the first quarter, and then immediately following that was a kickoff return for a touchdown from Hezi Trotter, and then we had a 46-yard field goal attempt that was good from the Schaumburg side of it and Jonathan Mueller.
Yeah, that field goal was set up by the fourth down run by Trotter. I don't know if you could totally call it a fake punt, but he's their punter. He took the direct snap and ran with it.
So on that first down run to the far side, not much on it, if any. I think it may have been actually a loss of a yard.
Conant's done a nice job boxing up to Jora. I know with the 3-point lead, I'm sure Schaumburg would like to bleed some clock here, but if they keep boxing up to Jora, they may not be able to do that.
2 receivers out right, none to the left. There's Ross in the shotgun. He will roll to his right. Pass is caught to Trotter, who almost had to go to a knee to get it, but
looks like he did go to that knee.
And because of that, in high school, again, you don't have to be touched if you go to that knee to the ground, so that automatically stops the play from continuing any further. So that one could prove costly here early on this drive, and it's 3rd down. There's only a gain of about 3 on that reception.
Looked like it was going to be Trotter running in space, which is always dangerous, but the knee down helps out the Cougars.
2 receivers left as Ross steps up into the pocket, tries to dart through his lineman, and he is going to get taken down for the run. As helping on that one there to bring down Ross for the Conant Cougars was Derek Lewandowski, number 54.
That's what Conant needed. They're getting the ball right back here to start the second half. It should be pretty, the good kickoff is going to set up some decent field position for Conant as well.
And interesting, too, when we talk about punting here, Trotter hasn't had the best night in the punting game. And we've also seen that kind of option formation on the punts attempt from Trotter here from that first half.
Here's the traditional punt formation.
Good snap, and Trotter with a much better kick. And Watchell was going to pick this one up right at midfield at the 50. And he gets a gain of about 7 on the return to start this 3rd quarter drive for the Cougars in Saxons territory.
So good field position for Conant here. I would suspect they'll try to pound this one into scoring position here.
And you have to think as well, even though they're down by 3 right now with 9:44 to play in this 3rd quarter, 10-7 is our score in favor of Schaumburg, you would think that the score could be a lot more in Conant's favor considering where a lot of their drives have started.
Yeah, absolutely. They've had good field position. They too had the fake punt that did not work.
Pulaski under center, 2 receivers out right, and jumping off the line there, trying to guess the snap for Schaumburg was Connor Casamento, the senior linebacker, so that'll push Conant up 5 more. So a mental mistake on the defensive side from the senior, 5'11 linebacker.
Yeah, not a whole lot of penalties tonight, so that one gives Conant a nice start. I would think they'll especially try to get their option run game going here.
2 receivers out right, none to the left, ball at the near left hash. Ball at the 37. Perez goes in motion, and trying to take this one up the middle was Bradley Spates. Gains a few, and he is close to the first down, and they are going to give it to him. So first down run there from Bradley Spates, the 5'8 junior running back. As I mentioned, coming in here tonight, Spates hasn't had a lot of touches here in 2018.
Yeah, a little different personnel use out of Conant here than what we've seen in their first 5 games of the year.
And keeping it himself was Pulaski, and the Saxons went all in on that one, assuming it was going to go to Bradley Spates, and for Pulaski's sake, good thing he kept it for positive gain.
Yeah, some nice penetration out of the Saxons, but Pulaski was able to dodge the first set of tacklers and picked up about 4 or 5 yards there.
Officially give him that gain of 5, as you mentioned, Eric, as we have 8:47 and counting to play. Ball at the 28 here in the third quarter. Pulaski looking to his sideline and head coach Brian Stortz.
Play clock running down. Not all high school fields have the play clock here, so a nice feature here at Schaumburg.
As on the toss, it's Rude getting to the edge and then immediately bringing him down. Hezzy Trotter, the quote-unquote 5-tool player for the Saxons, makes the tackle for loss.
Yeah, he had a lot of speed coming into that tackle, so nice play on the other end of the field for Trotter.
So they mark that as a loss of 4. Ball back at the 31, 3rd down and 9 as we have 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. One receiver out left as Pulaski gives it on the second option as it goes to Perez. Gets into the second level, and Perez gets a first down and much more. First down, Conant in the red zone territory they go.
That was the first time all night that some of Conant's deception in in their running game worked, and basically ran a counter sweep and caught the Schaumburg defense running towards the short side of the field and was able to pick up a key first down there.
So a first down for the Cougars at the 15. Spates in the backfield, one receiver out left, and he's going to look that way for Watchell. Pass is caught, and getting just out towards the 5-yard line is Watchell. And that should be enough for there should be just short of a first down. It'll be second and short.
Nice looking pass out of Pulaski again. Sets the table for Conant to have a lot of options here, second and short.
Mark that as a gain of 8 on the pass and throw, and the catch rather. Pulaski will look back to his sideline. Spates in the backfield. Same formation once again. Nobody lined up to the far right. Ball in the left hash. Under 10 seconds on the play clock now. Perez goes in motion, and Pulaski's going to keep it himself, and Kevin Pulaski dives in for a Conant touchdown.
Into the end zone. Exactly what Conant needed to do. They answer the second half with a quick 3 and out. Get good field position and move right down the field with a couple of nice looking run plays and a good pass by Pulaski. So just like that, Conant back on top.
13-10. Jessica Smeltzer out for the point after to make this a 4-point score. And Kevin Pulaski telling one of his linemen to get out there. That's Tony DeToli, number 72, who hustled out there, as they only had 10 players out on the field. As the snap is high, the hold is there, the kick is up, and it is good. And it's now the Cougars back in the lead, 14-10, 7:23 to play in this third quarter.
All right, promising start here for Conant. Defense is looking good and loosened some things up in the run game there. Pulaski had 2 key runs, including the touchdown there, and another one that went for a nice gain. So really, I mean, I guess now that Conant's up on top, the other way to spin this game would be that the 2 big plays by Trotter is what's keeping Schaumburg in this one.
So with, as I mentioned, 7:23 to play in this third quarter, what do you want to see change from the Schaumburg offense now down by 4?
Well, so we've talked a lot about Trotter. He has the kickoff return. He had the 4th down fake punt play. They haven't really gotten the ball to him that often in their normal offense. So I think maybe a screen play or handing it off to him is something I think they should try to work in.
So for this one, for the Saxons, it'll be Rude to boot this one end to end. You've got Trotter, DeGioia, and Brown back deep. A line drive kick that is going to be taken by Brown from just ahead of his own 10. Shamari Brown to the far side, out to the numbers, and gets taken down just right around the 30-yard line, and the Saxons will start their drive from there.
So Schaumburg's been pretty conservative, sticking with the Jura. Now that they're down, I wonder if they'll try to open up the playbook a little bit more and see if they can't find something.
Play took 9 seconds off the clock at 7:14 now. Are you surprised maybe they haven't targeted Trotter as much on offensive drives instead of the special teams game?
Yeah, a little bit. They targeted him on their first drive, but he had the unfortunate where he had to go down to the knee on something that had the potential for a gain. So I think we'll see that again here this drive.
Trotter in motion, and right on cue, he gets the ball. Stiff arms to the right side, tries to cut back. And it's going to take a sea of white jerseys to try to bring down the big man. And did the ball come out? And Conant says they've got it, but we don't have an official word yet.
A Conant defender has the ball. I wonder, there may have been a whistle on the forward progress. There were literally 8 defenders trying to tackle Trotter on that play.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I think forward progress and the whistle, at least on the field, may have not been as loud as we usually hear it up in our booth. Either way, that's a run there of only a yard on the forward progress that they finally stopped for Trotter. 2 receivers out left, 1 to the right, that being Trotter on the right. DeGioia up the middle, and a nice stop there from the defensive line of the Cougars to bring up a 3rd down, as Lewandowski, the junior lineman, was the one to bring him down.
Another good defensive play on Conant. They're been as sharp as you can be in the second half so far.
That was a gain of nothing as we now have 6 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 9. 2 receivers out left. DeGioia at the left hip. Ross rolls to his left. Points for a block downfield, but he's not going to be able to get there, though, as he's taken down just short of the 35. Conant read that well. 4th down Saxons.
Yeah, that appeared to be a design run. They didn't try to throw there, a little surprising. But great pursuit out of the Conant defense. He really never threatened to make that 1st down yardage.
Ross's run there gave him a gain of 4 to make it 4th and 5, but as he Trotter and the Saxons are going to punt this one away. Washoe will be the one back deep for Conant. And looking ahead to next week, Schaumburg will hit the road to take on Palatine. And for the Cougars, they'll be at Fremd next week. So both teams will be road warriors in week 7. As that one, it's a short snap to DeGioia. Oh, they wanted the trick play as DeGioia was supposed to go to Shamari Brown, but the pass fell short. Another trick play from Schaumburg that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's their 3rd fake punt of the night. This one, DeGioia doing a kind of a jump pass almost, and really the deception didn't work.
I don't know if maybe the deception, the throw wasn't there.
Yeah, the throw, it seemed like it looked like a guy who doesn't throw the ball that much throwing it.
Sometimes there is a reason why on the roster they do list him as a running back, not as a quarterback.
Yeah, well, that's a great opportunity for Conant to extend their lead, though.
So at 4:57, they're going to start this drive on the Schaumburg 34. Pulaski, he tries to take advantage of that missed play, and this one is deflected and incomplete, as in coverage for Schaumburg was Vince DeRozzo, as Washoe was the intended receiver. Well, that could have been a big play just like that.
Conant really going for the jugular with the deep pass right off of the turnover on downs. A few times they've thrown deep, they've had one-on-one coverage and the chance to make some plays, not quite able to connect there. Good defensive play by Schaumburg.
And again, maybe why Brian Stortz kind of keeps this as more of a running game is when he sees plays like that in the passing game that don't become successful, you just stick to what you're good at. 1 receiver out each side as Spates is in the backfield. Perez goes in motion, and Spates takes it right up the middle, gets a 1st down and more as Bradley Spates tumbles his way into the red zone for a nice 1st down run for Conant.
That's a nice quick hitter up the middle, and they 155-pound fullback was able to spin out of a tackle for his biggest gain of the night.
So they spot the ball at the 16-yard line, 1st and 10 with 4:44 to play in this third quarter. 14-10 our score. Alongside Eric Anderson, I'm Ryan Fay with you here on our HETV Game of the Week here at Schaumburg High School on homecoming night here for the Saxons. Big crowd on hand here tonight. Receivers 2 to the left, 1 in the slot. Man goes in motion as Pulaski's going to keep it on the option. Goes to the far side and gets taken down just short of the 10-yard line for 2nd down.
So a nice little hold there for Pulaski after he pulled the ball out of Spate and able to pick up a decent gain there on the short side of the field.
Mark that as a gain of 3 on that run as we now have 4 minutes to play in the third.
Pulaski's playing a nice game. Hasn't really made any mistakes. Has been effective running the ball. Hasn't broken anything terribly long, but has picked up some key yardage here and there.
15 seconds on the play clock and counting. Ball on the far hash. 1 receiver left. Spates in the backfield. Man goes in motion. Pulaski throws to his left. Pass is deflected, incomplete. And they're going to get a flag on that one as Vince DeRazio is going to get called for the PI.
That was a case where the Conant receiver, big body there, was able to kind of use his body and really didn't give the Schaumburg defender much of a chance to do anything other than try to climb around him. So I think it was a fair call, and I think it was set up by the wide receiver's positioning on that play.
I saw a little bit of a hold there with the back part of that jersey that also could have initiated that flag to come out from the officials. Of course, anytime the officials are going to see that hold of the jersey, and again, that's out of that 5-yard rule, so if you see that when you get them down the field, that of course is going to be the easy call for the officials to make. So a new set of downs. It's 1st and goal at the 3, or I should say the 12-yard line, so they're going to call it a 1st and goal, I believe. Let's see where they got the ball at.
Yeah, so I think just questioning how the penalty will be applied here. The pass interference, not a spot ball.
Yeah, 1st and goal at the 6, and now it's been updated. So 1st and goal now. New set of downs here in goal line territory for Conant. Although it wouldn't have made sense if it was 1st and goal at the 12 if they started it with the new penalty.
Yeah, well, it's an automatic 1st down on the pass interference penalty.
Toss right, it's Rude, and he is in for the Cougars and a touchdown for Conant.
The quick pitch, they ran a similar play to they ran the pitch the other time they had the ball near the goal line, and this time more successful. So the Conant running game has come out in the second half and has found a little bit of space there. Nice drive, with the exception of the pass interference penalty, is completely on the ground for Conant.
Jessica Smeltzer out now for the point after to try to make this a 21-10 lead. Snap, the hold, and the kick. It is up, and it is good. So now the tide's starting to turn in favor of Conant. They were down 10-7 to begin this second half, and it's a whole different ball game now with 3:28 to play here in the third, Eric.
Yeah, everything's gone Conant's way this half. They've had 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and Schaumburg had a 3-and-out, and then a botched fake punt also off of a 3-and-out.
So 21-10 our score. Alongside Eric Anderson, I'm Ryan Fahey with you here for our HETV Game of the Week. Here at Schaumburg High School, the home of the Saxons on homecoming night. As Conant's trying to ruin that said homecoming night here for the Saxons. Big crowd on hand from the home bleachers to the away side.
So yeah, this is Conant looking to go 2-0 for the in West play here, and move to 4-2. Quite the improvement off of their 1-8 season from a year ago. And this would put them in prime position to compete for the West title, 2-0 in the West.
Certainly would be off to a good start in conference play as you get into the heart of conference play here in 2018 now. He's got a Conant team that right now is in second in the conference, 3-2 overall, 1-0 in conference play, with that big win on the road against Barrington. So if you can come away with back-to-back road victories to start off conference season, That's a pretty good resume. As this rather short kick goes to Shamari Brown on the far side from just inside his own 20-yard line, and he gets taken down right at about the 30. And if you're Schaumburg, you right now 3-2, 0-1 in conference play, falling off of that 14-0 loss against the Hawks of Hoffman Estates. You don't want to fall 0-2 in conference play because then you still got that really deep hole that you got to climb out of.
Yeah, this would really be a challenge for Schaumburg to get to the 5 wins for the playoffs here. They'd have to go. They'd have to get 2 wins out of Palatine, Barrington, and Frem. Still be a challenge. And
it's interesting for the point total. They have a plus-minus ratio of plus 85 coming into tonight, and they're 0-1 in conference and 3-2 overall. Yeah, so that kind of tells you the little bit of the non-conference play versus when you get into conference play and how that differential still kind of works in your favor despite it not working in the conference standings.
Yeah, and Schaumburg's helped by they opened the season against a tough St. Charles North team that's 4-1, and to this point their only league game was against 5-0 Hoffman Estates.
Off that first down run, it was a gain of 4, 2nd and 6 from DeGioia. 2 receivers out right, 1 to the left now with a man in motion. As on the slot, it's Trotter, but that one over his shoulder, incomplete to bring up 3rd down.
Ball a little bit behind him, but catchable.
So this brings up a kind of a rather pivotal 3rd down here with 2:45 to go in the 3rd. I know there's still plenty of football here, Eric, but the way the drives have been going, it's been all Conant here in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, this momentum's clearly on Conant's side, and this Schaumburg needs to do something to change the tide there.
2 receivers each side once again. Perhaps a big 3rd down in this game. As Ross throws to his right, pass is caught by Brown. He's got the 1st down past the 45-yard line, and it's enough for a Saxons 1st down as it takes a lot of Cougar defenders to bring him down nevertheless.
Yeah, nice pass, and Brown proves to be a difficult guy to take down once he has the ball.
And we have an injured Cougar down on the field, however. Didn't see who officially went down. Although, kind of with it being maybe cooler temperatures, maybe just some cramps perhaps as they work on the right leg of the injured player.
Yeah, very well could be. Clock stop with 2.5 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter.
The ball at the 47-yard line once we come out of this injury timeout. As the right leg is the one that appears to have the most attention at the current moment.
It looks to be a muscle-related thing.
I wonder as well, since we have a moment, if we can get an update on the Palatine Hoffman Estates score. Because that one we reported back in the first half. Palatine on the road having a 31-12 lead in the first half.
Yeah.
Not something that you would have expected coming into tonight.
Yeah, I'm seeing that as the halftime score is still 31-12.
So that could be a big burst on the perfect season so far for Hoffman Estates. 5-0 overall, 1-0 in mid-suburban West play. And, coming into this season as coming off for the injured Cougar is Ronald Williams, the junior defensive back. It was kind of well said in some great columns from the Daily Herald that followed mid-suburban league football that it's kind of open season in the West. And if Palatine can pull that off and show that, hey, maybe they're not just out of it just yet, that can become a 6-team race.
Yeah, this is the most wide open the West has been in years. The past few, Barrington and Palatine being kind of the 1A and 1B at the top of the league. Now it's wide open. Hoffman Estates had several years as kind of a bottom feeder, and their program's much improved, and this Conant program seems to be the same way.
Batted at the line, and it is falling incomplete. Waschel had a fingertip on it about 4 or 5 times, and he couldn't come down with it as he jumped the line, batted the pass attempt right at the line of scrimmage. It falls incomplete, and it's 2nd down.
That was almost a spectacular play, and another example of this Conant defense is really creating some havoc. Brian Stortz turned around the Lake Zurich program with a 3-5 defense with great linebacker play. He's getting that tonight here.
3 receivers out left. As Ross looks that way, passes incomplete as that one over Brown and under the area of Anthony Rafrano, number 7, and it brings up third down. And you're just seeing this offense of Schaumburg just kind of be a little out of sorts at the moment.
A little out of sorts. Their bread and butter run game hasn't been very successful tonight, and they're going to the air on first and second down here, and setting up a third and long.
Third down and 10 from their own 47. 2:15 to play in the third. Down 21-10. Play clock down to 8. As Ross throws over the middle, pass is caught. It's Hezzy Trotter, and he is going to get the first down on a big third down conversion from senior to senior, Ross to Trotter.
That was another Trotter. Looked like he was going to be pulled down short of the line to gain, but was able to juke out of a tackle and picked up the first. Keeps this drive alive and keeps Schaumburg into the game here.
So well done by the veteran leaders of this Schaumburg team, as we now have 2 minutes to play in the third. 2 receivers right, 1 left. And they go back to the running game for DeGioia, who gets to the 40. So minimal gain on that to bring up second down. You mentioned that kind of in this third quarter as a whole, that this Schaumburg offense has kind of went into the more pass-first approach as they now try to get DeGioia back in the running game going.
Yeah, and it was stacked up yet again here. So the Conant run defense has been as good as you could ask for tonight.
On the second down, Ross throws to his right, pass is incomplete. He was looking for Trotter. He got taken down, and bringing him down back behind the line there for the Cougars was Derek Lewandowski, I beg your pardon. No flags, third down and 9.
Yeah, I think Ross got rid of that ball sooner than he wanted to, and Trotter was well covered, and the ball was well overthrown. So good all-around defensive play by Conant there. Lewandowski's been having his name called all night. Nice game out of him so far.
The defensive end lined up on the left side here for the Cougars. Third and 9 at the Cougar 40. Ross will try to run it. It's not going to work, though, as bringing him down was Joseph Carroll, number 23. And it's fourth down for the Saxons.
Yeah, good pressure again out of Conant. One guy, the nose tackle for
as this now kind of a rugby punt by Trotter. Nobody back, and this one is going to fall into the end zone for a touchback, as trying to chase that one down was Rafrano. But it'll be a touchback off the punt from Hezzy Trotter. 35 seconds remaining in this quarter, and the Cougars get the ball up by 11, 21-10.
Yeah, that nose tackle for Conant, Devon Holmes, just 185 pounds, but has been doing a nice job of plugging up the middle for the Conant defense. And the typically three-man front. Three-man front, he's been letting the linebackers make a lot of tackles.
Yeah, Holmes has kind of been in the backfield as well, trying to create blocking space for DeGioia, the sophomore. And here in this third quarter, that really hasn't developed into anything for Schaumburg. As it's first and 10 now for the Cougars, and this time they're starting in their own territory for this drive at their own 20.
So we mentioned that Conant beat Barrington last week behind 3 very long touchdown drives.
As this one, Pulaski on the keep, penalty flag comes out as a chunk of yardage on the first down run, but we'll see what the call does here.
Would appear to be a holding penalty, but we'll see. But Conant had 3 very long touchdown drives last week against Barrington. Another one here might ice this game.
And it is going to be a hold against Conant, so that'll back up the run. 29 seconds remain here in the third. And, you know, you mentioned the long drives that they had into that 9-point victory over at Barrington last week. They haven't had to do really long drives here tonight against Schaumburg, as they've, you know, kind of been, you know, for lack of a better word, gifted great fielding position here tonight.
Yeah, I think all 3 of their touchdown drives started on the Schaumburg side of the 50.
And that's something to look over as when it mentions the score at the end of the night and to how Conant got their 21 points. They're now under 20 seconds to go, play clock at 13.
And a lot of that, they've been the more successful punting team.
As on the end around, it's Rude getting to the far side for a first down and a whole lot more. Ahead of the 30 he goes. And a nice run after that hold call. Here Rude gives the Cougars a nice first down and some breathing space.
Yeah, definitely. Conant running game was well bottled up in the first half, but they're finding some space on some different looks here in the second half. So
final seconds will wind down, then that'll do it for the third quarter of play. 14 unanswered points from the Cougars in that third quarter, as we will go to the fourth with them leading 21-10 over the Saxons here on homecoming night at Schaumburg. And we're seeing how these drives have, for Schaumburg, rather kind of just be mental errors and just mistakes on their end. And it's not to say we can't discredit what Conant has done on offense, but Schaumburg really hasn't offensively put themselves in the best positions here to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key to that has been how well the Conant defense has done stopping the Schaumburg run game. DeJoya came in with 97 carries. He's had a bunch of them tonight, but he's really struggled to get going. It'd be interesting to see what his numbers end up being, but he's been stacked up, and really it's been a case where he's had to try to make a move deep into his own backfield and struggling to pick up just 1 or 2 yards after that.
So about to begin the fourth quarter. They'll switch sides. It'll be the Cougars, as you see in their road whites, going left to right offensively. Saxons in the home maroon jerseys, maroon helmets and gold pants, going right to left. Once they have the ball, obviously, as this one a toss to the right for Rude. Gets to his sideline, short of the first down, as the fourth quarter is now underway.
A little different formation out of Conant there. They had two ball carrier or 2 backs deep in the backfield, and the quick pitch, which they I think similar play to what they scored the touchdown on their last drive there.
Gain of only 2 on that first down run to begin this fourth quarter of action. Ball at the 36, and now they just actually gave him a 3rd-yard, so 2nd and 7. 2 receivers right, and Pulaski will check back to the sidelines for the play call from Brian Stortz, the head coach. Nobody lined up to the far left. 10 seconds on the play clock. And this one is going to be kept, and on the run, getting close to the first down, Bradley Spates. He's going to be just short of it, though, to bring 3rd down.
Nice pickup, though. This is a very manageable 3rd down. I think Conant's going to let this play clock tick down and take their time on this play here. Key 3rd down for Schaumburg if they want to stay in this one here.
So 3rd down and looks like just under a yard. They need to get to the 44 to get it. And now if you're Schaumburg, you try to think about just kind of creating those draining long drives and also bleeding some clock on top of it.
Pulaski's been successful just on the keeper here. I wonder if they'll go to it again.
He may have some room in front of him if he decides to do that. And he collides with his own guy. And that is a rather jarring hit that Pulaski took.
Yeah,
the officials even kind of came over right away to make sure he was okay. Nevertheless, it's a 4th down for minimal gain. And they gave him a first down? Wow, how about that for forward progress?
That's not how you draw it up. I think Pulaski looked to hand off to his fullback, but instead was basically pushed apparently forward a little bit for the first down.
Sometimes it's not how you draw it up, but as long as you get it, why not? So first down for Conant. I was surprised on the spot, to be honest with you.
Surprised you on the spot, and that may have been the biggest hit Pulaski's taken all night.
As Rude spins out of a tackle, nicely done towards midfield for a nice run there to bring up 2nd down. Yeah, going back to that 3rd and short, though.
That was about the most poorly executed play Conant's had in the second half here, and
it worked.
Still got the first down. So things are going their way for sure.
That's kind of the telltale story of this second half as a whole, compared to the momentum that Schaumburg had carried with them towards the end of the second quarter, and how it's been reversed here in this second half. There's an official gain of 4 there on that run from Rude.
Pulaski taking his time here, letting the clock go down under about 5 seconds.
He's going to keep it himself, get outside the numbers to the near side, gains a few more. Watch out, sideline camera guy, 3rd down. That's why we have our guy and our man behind the scenes, Bruce Anderson, up in the safe spot in the booth. It's expensive equipment. We can't have it get destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's much warmer where we are, too, from our vantage point.
Yeah, we'll take that.
For the gentlemen that brought jackets, it is. Some of us that didn't. I'm not saying anybody, me included, but, you know. 3rd down and 4. 9:05 to play in regulation. Perez goes in motion as Pulaski quickly throws his right pass. Is caught. Watchell, 1st down. And he slips out of one tackler, and that one moves forward into Saxons territory, and another nice conversion by the Cougars.
Yeah, a nice little pass. Pulaski, we keep saying it, he doesn't pass all that often, but he's been effective. This Conant offense hasn't been very explosive, but they've executed very well tonight, and they're moving the chains here. Possessions pushing 4 minutes here. This series should get it into about 5 minutes already, and they're just now over midfield at the 37-yard line or so.
So 1st down at the Schaumburg 37. Rude goes in motion. Pulaski tried to keep it, but he is brought down in the backfield. Conant Cougars makes the tackle for a loss, 2nd down.
Good penetration there by Schaumburg's defense, and they finally get Conant off schedule here, 2nd and long.
It's a loss of 3 on that run there for Pulaski. Ball back at the 40 now. Under 8.5 to go. One receiver out right, no one to the left, everybody else bunched up near at the line. You've got one man in the backfield, that's Devon Holmes, number 29. And on the end around, it's Rude again. And Rude gets back to the first line of scrimmage. He tiptoes the sidelines, and he's going to take it in for a touchdown. How he didn't go out of bounds, I'm not sure. But a big Conant touchdown to give themselves some insurance with 8:02 to go in the 4th.
Yeah, nice play by Rude. I really thought that he was deliberately trying to stay in bounds just to run the clock out. It seemed like that play was going to be dead, but he just never got tackled and kept. All of a sudden, he had tons of green grass ahead of him.
A 40-yard run to the house for a touchdown, 27-10. Conant extra point coming. Jessica Smeltzer out to kick it. The snap, the hold, and the kick. It is up, and it is high and through and good. 28-10 Cougars as they try to get a stranglehold on this Mid-Suburban West Conference battle.
Yeah, it's the case. This Schaumburg defense has been on the field most of the second half, and maybe a little tired on that play. Just couldn't quite get Rude down to the turf when he was, or into the sideline when he was running along the sideline. And a nice play to tiptoe along the sideline would be interesting if Bruce was on that sideline to see just how close he was to getting out of bounds.
And he even just wrote me a note saying a rude awakening. That one I'll give that one a nice clap. I would tip a cap if I would, but I don't have one out right now. So, but nevertheless, 28-10, and that is just really deflating if you're Schaumburg.
Yeah, absolutely. They ended the second half trying to kick a long field goal to extend their lead to 6, but this second half has been all Conant, 21-zip.
And
in the second half.
Looking over at the far bleachers, seeing some people looking like they're heading for the exits here with 8 minutes to go, down by 17. As this kickoff goes to the near side at about the 18 for Shamari Brown. Brown just ahead of the 30, trying to have a pile push ahead of him. He's still on his feet. and he gets ripped down to the 40, so almost a replica play, but this time on Schaumburg, but a good run there for extra yardage by Shamari Brown.
Yeah, every time Brown has gotten the ball, he's been a load to take down. So definitely some solid skill players on the Schaumburg team with Brown and Trotter. Be interesting to see how you would expect Ross to be bombs away here down 18 with under 8 minutes left in the contest.
So they mark it officially at the 41. It looked like that was only going to be a kickoff return for about maybe 5 or 7 yards. Turns into a double-digit one for a little over 20. Schaumburg down to their final chances here, down by 17 with 7:50 to go. Ross to his right. Pass is caught as that, and getting taken down on the far side of the field is number 3, Hezzy Trotter. That was a gain of about 5 for second down.
Yeah, they got the ball to Trotter, but there was about 4 Conant tacklers surrounding him as soon as he caught the ball. Really a great defensive effort here tonight by the Cougars. Here comes an end, a reverse.
Yep, and this one taken and falling down just short at midfield was Rafrano at the 50. He's going to be about a yard short for third down.
Nice hard run and a little deception. Worked for a decent gain here, but not quite enough to move the sticks. Gotta believe this would be 4 down territory for the Saxons.
Under 7 minutes now to go. And it is something, you know, down by multiple scores, it's something you got to consider. And considering how Conant has been able to just kind of run it down your throat here in this second half. As Ross on this third and short. Ross is tripped up in the backfield. It's Watchell to bring him down. 4th and a few for the Saxons now.
So that was the case where Ross dropped back. His first option wasn't there. He quickly tucked, felt a little pressure, quickly tucked, ran, and didn't get very far. And went backwards a little bit. They're going. Looks like they're going for it on 4th down. They won't even pretend to punt here.
There's a loss of 2 on the takedown from Ross to Watchell. As Watchell came in from the left side of the line. Brown goes in motion. Ross going to keep it himself. This time it works, and it will be enough for a first down and a gutsy play call to try to go up the middle against this Conant defense. Nevertheless, it brings them a new set of downs.
Yeah, that was like a swing and a miss on a changeup out of Conant. I don't think they were expecting that play call, and it worked on them.
2 receivers out right, 1 to the left. 5:40 to go as Schaumburg trying to generate some offense, down 28-10. And Ross will run to his left for some yardage. Gets to the near sideline out of bounds. We'll see where he stepped out. That may be enough for a first down, actually, depending on where they have him.
Good foot speed out of Ross there. I think they're going to.
It's going to be enough. Yep, 10 yards on the run.
That was a case where the pocket collapsed on one side, and Ross just went the other direction and was able to find a little room there.
So new set of downs once again. Back-to-back first downs on consecutive plays. 2 out right as Ross over the middle. Brown was the receiver. Pass falls incomplete.
Providing some of the pass rushers, another undersized defensive lineman for Conant, Dante Trombetta. 200 pounds, and I'd say listed generously at 5'9".
That's the weight area saying, well, I'm watching my figure. So 2nd down and 10. Clock stopped at 5:21 here in the 4th. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Or rather 3 if you count Trotter in the slot on the right side. Ross steps up. He's going to run it yet again to the near sideline. He will go. And again, from our vantage point, we'll just see on the spot. Another good play there by Ross. And
Yeah, nice run by Ross and a good decision. No hesitation. As soon as his first option isn't there, he's tucking and running. And
it's another first down. They do give him it. So Ross has been able to muster up the running game for Schaumburg in the matter of his own hands.
This is a case where Schaumburg's sending a lot of receivers deep down the field, and it's opening up a little running space underneath for Ross.
3 receivers right, 1 left as Ross steps up. This one's to Trotter on the far side. It's caught for a first down. Spins to the 15 and gets taken down.
So they got the ball underneath the Trotter. He was able to make a man miss, and he's going to be close to the first down as well. So
it was a gain of about 13 as they got him at the 15 now in red zone territory.
So this Schaumburg piecing together a nice little drive here.
2 receivers right and 2 to the left. DeJoy at the right hip of Ross as he throws to the right and nobody home there.
A little miscommunication. I think Ross was expecting the comeback route there out of his wide receiver.
He was looking there for Luke Jesse, who did not turn back to the football. Clock stops at 4:58. Still time here for Schaumburg to try to muster a rally, but they need a lot of things to go their way here in this final 4:58.
Yeah, this drive has been an effective drive, but it is taking some time off the clock. I suppose it is better than punting, though.
Play clock now at 10. Same formation again. Oh, a botch snap that is on the ground. Ross falls on top of it, though. It was low from the beginning, and Ross looked like he tried to pick the ball up from the ground before he actually had it, and then that's why he lost a few more yards on top of it.
Yeah, and that was almost picked up by Trombetta coming in hard off the edge.
Timeout's been called. Saxons call their first of this half. They have 2 remaining. Conant still has all 3 of theirs. 28-10 our score. 4:52 to go here in the regulation. Alongside Eric Anderson, I'm Ryan Fay with you for our HETV Game of the Week. And, of course, a shout-out to our guy Bruce Anderson to our left for the great camera work and our production behind the scenes. And, you know, with this Saxons team here, now that they're finally moving the ball courtesy of Marcus Ross just kind of running it himself, it appears the formula for any success offensively, just let it be the Marcus Ross show.
That's definitely what they're doing, trying to give him some space here. He's making some nice decisions. He's been decisive when he runs, tucks and runs, gives up on the pass, and has been able to pick up some yards here. Ross has played a pretty nice game. No major mistakes, and has moved well with the ball in his hands.
It was a loss of about 8 after that fumble on the snap. 3rd and 18. They're back at the Conant 23-yard line. They need to get in the goal line territory to convert a first down. Or to convert on this 3rd down, rather, to get a first and goal. 2 receivers out each side as Ross steps up. And he is going to run it yet again. He's got some green grass up the middle. And he's close to a first down. It depends on the spot. But another big run there.
Another big run by Ross, and another time where he saw an opening and went for it. So he's a big guy back there at quarterback.
They're going to mark him a yard short. 4th and 1 with under 4.5 to go. And we get a whistle, and a timeout has been called, and another one goes to the Saxons, so they'll have 1 remaining. Interesting time to call your second timeout here.
Yeah, you know, I think they're probably thinking that if they don't convert this thing, the game's over, so they want to be on the same page. But something that they probably should have considered being up and ready to convert this thing right away. That could prove to be a costly timeout for sure. 4th
down and 1, ball at the Cougar 6. Do you imagine this one being another Ross keep?
Yeah, I think that's been successful. I think it's partly, though, been successful because it's been off of passing plays where receivers have gone deep. They won't be able to do that here. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get the ball to Brown and the big wide out and let him bowl somebody over for a first down.
4th and 1 at the 6, 4:24 to go. Could be the last surviving chance for the Saxons here. As they could be falling to 3-3 on the season, 0-2 in conference play, and having 2 straight home losses. Two receivers to each side. DeJoy at the right hip. Ross in the shotgun. Trotter in motion. Ross keeps it himself. And the
good second effort.
yeah,
though.
that's going to be that's close because you got both sides saying different opinions. Cougars saying he didn't get it. Saxon's saying that's enough for a first. So depends on the spot.
A good play call. They faked the Trotter on the end around and ended up keeping and ended up let Ross keep the ball.
Wonder if they may bring out the chains here for this one because that one is right there.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
So a big chain answer to come, as that is right at the nose of the football, right at the 5 roughly.
Well,
let's see where it is.
Schaumburg needs this one, that's for sure. Looks like he's
short. By about a nose of the football, he's short. And it's a turnover on downs, and the Cougars are about 4-17 away from improving to 2-0 in the conference and 4-2 on the season.
Well, that was a key fourth down stop. Schaumburg, really for the first time tonight, got something going on offense behind Ross running. But they went to it one more time and just short of the first down on a second effort by Ross.
Just to get you caught up on the scoring here, Kevin Pulaski, 2 running touchdowns tonight. Pierre Rude with 2 respectively, and then he had the one that broke out for 40 yards. And then the only touchdown from the side of the Saxons was the kickoff return for a touchdown from Hezzy Trotter.
So I expect Conant to try to take the remainder of this 4:17 off the clock here.
Rude on the carry. Remember, he tiptoed that near sideline for that long touchdown earlier, and he gets a nice first down and some more, and breathing room for the Cougars offense.
Deja vu for the Schaumburg defense there. Rude tiptoed along the sideline, cut it back in for a nice gain.
Approaching 4 minutes to go. It was a gain of about 22 on the run. Clock will now start once again as the chains have been set. 4 minutes now to go.
Schaumburg only down to 1 timeout, so this is a dire situation for the Saxons.
That's the thing here the second half. They have just not been able to stop the running attack from Conant. As in that win last week at Barrington, Conant was able to produce long scoring drives, as this one on the run is for a gain of a few. But field position has been a big story here for how Conant has been able to be successful here at Schaumburg tonight. They haven't had to work down the field a lot so much, and starting, what was it? I think we said 3 drives in Conant territory, leading to 3 scores. That's pretty good.
Yep. Their first 3 touchdowns started in Saxon's territory, and then their 4th touchdown was off the long run, kind of the backbreaker by Rude.
It was a gain of 2 on that run as we now approach 3 minutes to go, and they're just trying to match the play clock down towards the 0 mark before they execute, as Rude on the toss right. It's going to be short of the first down to bring up 3rd and manageable.
Under 3 minutes here. So yeah, Conant scored every time they've had the ball this second half.
As it's been quite the, and if you look at how we saw that first half going, it was more so Schaumburg that carried that momentum going into the locker room, and then all of a sudden we had it become a complete 180 right out of the gate for that 3rd quarter.
Yeah, really the Conant run defense was good in the first half, was dominant in the second here, and then really the big thing, their offense was able to find some running room here.
As up the middle and staying on his feet, Bradley Spates past midfield. And that may be the exclamation point for this Cougar squad tonight.
That's Spates, the 5'8", 155-pound fullback. Not your typical size for that position, but he was able to get in space and a nice pickup. This is maybe one more first down away from knees here, I think.
They got the ball spotted at the Schaumburg 47-yard line. Ball towards the far hash. Spates at the right hip of Kevin Pulaski, who
This is a heck of a game by Conant. They're moving to 2-0 in league play. They're at From next week, and then Palatine and Hoffman following that.
And Spates up the middle, gets some more yards out of it, through the hole, and Trotter brings him down. Another first down for this Cougars offense, and that has just been the theme of this second half.
Heck of a run by Spates, the little guy Spates. Another good run. I suspect we'll see victory formation out of the Cougars here.
And, you know, going back to the game we talked about, Palatine Hoffman Estates, last we checked it was 31-12 Palatine at the half. I don't know if we have any more updates before we end here tonight, but...
Yeah, how tight the West was at halftime with Conant trailing, looking to move to 1-1. You would think that they'd be up against the playoff berth, and now moving to 2-0. Hoffman may be getting upset. They're very much in contention for the West title this year.
We talked about the West being open season, as on this one it's Perez on the carry just outside of the 20 for second down. But now you look at how this turns out, assuming Conant holds on for the win. They go to 2-0, 4-2 in conference play. They would technically leapfrog the Hawks in terms of the conference ranking. And then you've still got a very good Hawks team that may just be having a bump in the road in their season against Palatine, if Palatine is to hold on.
Yeah.
And you've got a Barrington team looking for redemption after losing at home to Evanston and at home to Conant in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, as it would sit tonight, they'd be the only 2-0 team. From sitting at 1-0, they're at Barrington's homecoming tomorrow afternoon.
And that would set up a very interesting battle next week between the Hawks of Hoffman Estates and the Barrington Broncos over at Barrington.
And Frem's had a nice season too. They could be in the mix, and they were, I think they were 1-8 or 2-7 last year. So
and assuming Palatine holds on to win, maybe don't count out the Pirates as the clock winds down. That's going to do it. And for the second week in a row, the Saxons fall at home, and it's the Cougars who celebrate big here on the road, as they will go to 4-2 on the season, and they defeat the Schaumburg Saxons by the score of 28-10 here at Schaumburg's homecoming.
Great start to Brian Stortz's second season in the MSL West. This team, that 1-8 season is a distant memory now, and they're looking to do something special this year. Big win for Conant.
So Conant goes to 4-2, 2-0 in conference play. They go to Fremd next week. And for the Saxons, it's their second straight home loss this season. And they go to Palatine next week. And assuming Palatine holds on and upsets Hoffman Estates on the road at Hoffman, that could set up for quite an interesting battle with those two teams next week. Yeah,
there's going to be two teams that kind of fortunes flipped this week for sure. And Schaumburg's going to be in the mix all three of those games. This is a solid football team. I think they'll be able to run the ball against everybody else on their schedule better than they did tonight. This Conant defense may be pretty special. And I think a playoff berth, while a little bit of an uphill battle for Schaumburg, certainly within reach.
So that is how our ball game will end here tonight. Again, final score, Cougars 28, Saxons 10. That'll do it for us here from Schaumburg High School. Eric, I want to thank you for stepping in for your dad here tonight.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It was a competitive game here, a good first half, and in the second half, Conant really showed that they mean business this season.
So that'll do it for our Week 6 broadcast here tonight. Once again, final score, Cougars 28, Saxons 10. For Eric Anderson and our great work behind the scenes from Bruce Anderson, I'm Ryan Fay signing off. This has been Week 6 HETV's Game of the Week.